not been to a Fringe Benefits of Education event before, and my name is Dr. McDowell. I'm actually the Dean of Enrollment Management here at the college, but the project administrator for Fringe Benefits of Education. Those of you who do not have a flyer, make sure you pick one up. Our concentration is for young men 17 to 24 years of age, but we always have a few young ladies who are with us. And we always have a few young men who are older than 24. Sometimes people come dressed a certain way because that's all they have. And we accepted that. But can I make those jeans I'm wearing the best looking jeans they can look that night? If I have a shirt, can I tuck it in? If that's the best I have, can I make that look good? And if I don't have any of those things, what's going to make me stand out in my slouchy whatever that some might think, give that guy a chance? You have to do something to give yourself the competitive edge. So as we go through this process, we're constantly reminding, is it Monte? Monte told me today, he brought me this draft of a logo he wanted to use for FBOE, and in the middle it said, finally, no more excuses. Finally, no more excuses. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about that. But he also shared with me something else he wanted to share with you all on YouTube. And I had to have him sit there. You all know I'm not into all that. But when you bring something to me, I actually could get there, couldn't I? And so one of the things he showed me, because we have that spiritual component, I think you will enjoy it. So I told him during the spiritual or inspirational moment today, I would let him share that with you and how he came to appreciate that piece, and I think you'll appreciate it too. So I'm going to welcome you tonight, and I'm going to ask how many of you connected with the Career Center and signed up for the Slitterbaum Water Park interviews that will be on the campus on February 8th. How many signed up to do that? You signed up? Okay, you have your resume ready? Okay, if those of you do not, we've passed this out a few weeks ago, February 8th in 2325 from 12 to 1:30. Slitterbaum will be here hiring folks, and we want you to be there, okay? Now, I have no problem, as I was sharing with someone, assisting and helping, but again, this is about you having a mentor and a life coach. This is about you rebuilding your swag, and I don't know where your swag started, but if this is rebuilding it, we're in trouble. And you opening up opportunities, and that's why we continue to talk about employment opportunities, community level support, and you being positioned to compete. I've had an awesome opportunity this week to look at transcripts. And one of the things I noticed when I looked at GPAs was the more frequently you come, the better you do. As you all start petering off from participation, you start petering off from participating in school, and so your GPA starts petering off as well. And I call it, the closer you stay to the fire, the warmer you become. The further you get from the fire, the colder you become. And it's evident in looking at your grades. So I'm going to encourage you all that if nothing else, you come, you bring a friend to First Thursday, but you come to those follow-ups, because that's where we get to the nitty-gritty of some of the things that's getting in your world.
This inspirational moment is just to be about just taking advantage of the opportunities, like the job opportunities. And I want to come up, got a person that can speak real quick, his testimony of what he was telling Mr. Daniels, right there. Yeah, Doc, you need to hear this testimony, because this is real results if you come to the program and listen. This will happen. He just want to share. He brought somebody with him because of the news. Go ahead.
How y'all doing tonight?
All right.
Yeah, I just came to the program like 2 weeks ago, and Mrs. McDowell, she had some jobs for me, and like she told me like she had applications, and for 4 years didn't nobody fill them out. So I'm like, dang, what's wrong with that? And I actually went and filled something out, and they actually called me. Like, one had actually called me and come for an interview and everything. But unfortunately, I was at another job at the time and I couldn't go. But I just want to say that the program, it really do help, and it is benefits. Like the name speak for itself. So y'all just come out and listen to what they got to say, and it will help you if you're looking for a job and just to better yourself, period, in life.
And that's what we want to be infectious, is that, you know, like I was telling Monte, you know, we was telling different people, we was out here promoting it. You can tell 1,000 people, you can tell 100 people, 10 people. All you can do is give them the information and tell them. Like my brother I just saw, and he telling some people, they choose to want to come to better themselves, then they show up. All you can do is put it out there, and the results speaks for itself about what we do and the things that Dr. Dow set them up for when it comes to jobs and opening. One of our taglines is, you know, open up job opportunities, community level support. All these things goes hand in hand, but it's on them to show up and be vigilant. She just gave you the stats about when you get disconnected not just from here, but from the school and other things you need to do, but yet then we complain that we need a job, the people ain't helping me out, but here's a place that's free for you to get help. And you know, some people don't take advantage of it. You know, it's that bubble. This is not just a FBOE thing, this is a national thing across the nation of why young men and some young women are not engaged and want to better themselves. The stats bear that too. So my main thing is to spread it, bring somebody with you, you know, and it works. It's a model that works.
Good evening, everyone. This is a video that I watched recently, like a bunch of times, because I think it's very inspirational. I saw it on Facebook a couple times with my friends. Like, everybody was like, watch it, you know, it's a good video. I was just like, whatever at first, but after watching it, I think it's like very inspirational, because like it's poetry, which is one of the most, like, I feel like most outspoken ways to express yourself and how you feel about everything. So here it is.
What if I told you Jesus came to abolish religion? What if I told you voting Republican really wasn't his mission? What if I told you Republican doesn't automatically mean Christian, and just because you call some people blind doesn't automatically give you vision? I mean, if religion is so great, why has it started so many wars? Why does it build huge churches but fails to feed the poor? Tell single moms God doesn't love them if they've ever had a divorce, but in the Old Testament, God actually calls religious people whores. Religion might preach grace, but another thing they practice. Tend to ridicule God's people. They did it to John the Baptist. They can't fix their problems, and so they just mask it, not realizing religion's like spraying perfume on a casket. See, the problem with religion is it never gets to the core. It's just behavior modification, like a long list of chores. Like, let's dress up the outside, make it look nice and neat. But it's funny, that's what they used to do to mummies while the corpse rots underneath. Now, I ain't judging. I'm just saying, quit putting on a fake look. Because there's a problem if people only know that you're a Christian by your Facebook. I mean, in every other aspect of life, you know that logic's unworthy. It's like saying you play for the Lakers just because you bought a jersey. See, this was me too, but no one seemed to be on to me. Acting like a church kid while addicted to pornography. See, on Sunday I'd go to church, but Saturday getting faded, acting if I was simply created to just have sex and get wasted. See, I spent my whole life building this facade of neatness, but now that I know Jesus, I boast in my weakness. Because if grace is water, then the church should be an ocean. It's not a museum for good people, it's a hospital for the broken. Which means I don't have to hide my failure, I don't have to hide my sin. Because it doesn't depend on me, it depends on Him. See, because when I was God's enemy, and certainly not a fan, He looked down and said, I want that man. Which is why Jesus hated religion, and for it He called them fools. Don't you see so much better than just following some rules? Now let me clarify. I love the church, I love the Bible, and yes, I believe in sin. But if Jesus came to your church, would they actually let Him in? See, remember He was called a glutton and a drunkard by religious men. But the Son of God never supports self-righteousness, not now, not then. Now back to the point, one thing is vital to mention. how Jesus and religion are on opposite spectrums. See, one's the work of God, but one's a man-made invention. See, one is the cure, but the other's the infection. See, because religion says do, Jesus says done. Religion says slave, Jesus says son. Religion puts you in bondage, while Jesus sets you free. Religion makes you blind, but Jesus makes you see. And that's why religion and Jesus are two different clans. Religion is man searching for God. Christianity is God searching for man, which is why salvation is freely mine and forgiveness is my own. Not based on my merits, but Jesus' obedience alone. Because he took the crown of thorns and the blood dripped down his face. He took what we all deserved. I guess that's why you call it grace. And while being murdered, he yelled, "Father, forgive them. They know not what they do." Because when he was dangling on that cross, he was thinking of you. And he absorbed all your sin and he buried it in the tomb, which is why I'm kneeling at the cross saying, come on, there's room. So for religion, no, I hate it. In fact, I literally resent it. Because when Jesus said, "It is finished," I believe he meant it.
Nice.
So again, he's coming to us with a wealth of experience and understanding of what it means to work with, to be a part of an urban campus, and to work with young men, and to try to keep you motivated and encouraged as we try to complete this journey called college. So I'm going to ask Dr. Seabrooks to please come up, and we're going to let him take it from here.
Thank you very much. I am extremely grateful and appreciative for having the opportunity to share with y'all a little bit my story. What I want to do, having been in higher education for nearly 20 years now, I have had the privilege of working with many brilliant minds like yourselves. And what I have learned in those 20 years or so is that there are 5 things that historically trip college students up and prevent them from achieving their ultimate goal, which is what? Graduating, right? The things that I hope to do this evening, first of all, I sincerely want to get better acquainted. I'm not just here to come in to visit with you all and you never see me again. I have business cards and I will leave you my contact information. And if there's anything that I can do to assist you on your journey, I hope that you take me up on it. I will also share that I write a monster recommendation letter. But you gotta earn the things that I put in that letter. But I'm awesome at that. Very few people can write a better one than I can. That's a fact. Then I want to talk to you briefly about 5 things that college students get twisted. And then I'm going to issue you 3 challenges. And Dr. McDowell asked you take notes. You might want to write these things down, because I promise you, if you do these 3 things that I share with you at the end, everything that you want to happen in your life will happen. All right. And then I'm gonna leave you with some final thoughts, and leave the floor for some questions. Now, is this a reasonable agenda this evening? And Madam President, is there anything you'd like to say to your illustrious students before we move? Okay. Because you got to get permission to be able to proceed. Hopefully this is a reasonable agenda. If not, I'm sorry. Too bad, too late. I want to do some introductions. Can I get 2 or 3 individuals here in the audience? Okay, I'm going to walk this way. If you can tell us your full name, your major or field of study, and lastly, most importantly, what legacy will you leave, I will greatly appreciate it. Okay. Always stand there, brother. Hold the mic. All right.
My name is Tony Taylor. My major in field of study right now is computer engineering. My legacy when I leave, you want to know from here?
No, your legacy, period.
what I'm trying to do is mainly, I guess is like, since I went to job corps and I became a certified carpenter, my main thing is to get a field of study in computers so I can understand wiring, and then also at the same time to be able to build and become a carpenter. So I'm trying to get those two together so I can be one of those master builders.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Fantastic. Y'all show Mr. Taylor some love. Did I have another volunteer? Yeah. I saw you raise your hand.
I'm on Monte Callaway. My major, as of right now, is psychology. Legacy I leave? I don't know. I want to be a tattoo artist. So.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, let's take one last one. Ooh, I'm gonna hurry. She got it.
My name is Rakita Buford. My major is mortuary science, and when I get older, I want my own coroner's office, funeral home with the crematory, and I want to open a youth center. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. That's your sister? Oh, man, I have deep admiration for you because I'm afraid of dead people. I don't know why, I just am. Thank you. I want you to understand this question, what legacy will you leave, is the most important question that you can ever ask yourself. It's more important than who will be your lifelong partner. It's more important than what type of job you have. At the end of the day, we live our life to leave something behind. And I hope, it's my hope and prayer for all of you, that you leave a legacy that will long live the years that you spend on the planet. So let's jump into this thing. 5 things college students get twisted. This is where you all actively participate. The first thing that college students get twisted is because the answer to this question. I am going to college so I can, what? Make more money. Keep it real. Keep it real. What else?
Get a better education.
Get a better education. Now that's what people say. They're going to college. You get a better, really? Okay, all right. I hear you. I hear you. What else? Somebody say job, what? Get a better job. Get a better job. Get a job, right? What else? You know what? Students have been surveyed in so many different ways. The Community College Student Services Engagement Survey, the No Limits has a survey. It doesn't matter whether you're going to Harvard, Yale, Kansas Community College, Penn Valley, KU, MU, Oklahoma State, doesn't matter. The majority of students go to college for these 3 reasons. A, to get a good job, to live a comfortable lifestyle, and to get my parents off my case. So, if those are the reasons that are motivating you to go to college, that's a weak foundation. I mean, because I tell you, at the end of the day, we have confused some terms that I want to help clarify this evening. The biggest confusion that we have is this concept called education. And I want to break down for a moment, if you allow me, there's a difference between education and a credential. Anyone can want to take a stab at what's the difference? Hey, how you doing? Good.
Education is something you learn.
Education is something you learn?
Credentials is something you have.
Credentials is something you learn. I mean, you have. Okay, that's pretty good analysis. Any other? Anybody want to take a stab? Yes, ma'am.
I would say education is something that you are taught and learn, and credentials is what you take the education and do with it to a higher level than what somebody else with the same education is.
I love that logic. I love that logic. Listen to this. An education is something that you actually can never obtain. Listen to me. You can never, ever, ever know everything about a subject. I mean, education is elusive pursuit of knowledge that is being generated at every second of our existence. Let me give you some simple examples. How many of y'all got an iPhone? Any iPhone carriers in here? Okay, what version of iPhone you got? Look at he balling. He don't even know what kind he got, right? He said, I got that new one. I got that new one that came out. Okay. iPhone 4. 4S probably, right? What was the one that came out before that?
3G.
3G, that was some of y'all more familiar with, right? The one that came out before that one. Just regular iPhone, right? Every time that iPhone came out, right, you had the people frustrated. Man, they done changed this function. They done changed this. You know, being alive is a pursuit of knowledge. And the pursuit of knowledge is what we call education. Here's the thing. When you graduate from this wonderful institution, please don't stop saying, I got my education. Stop saying that. Because what you actually received was a credential that suggested that at the time you graduated, you had the basic knowledge, right, to be able to say that you can operate in a particular discipline in that year. Now you keep on living, and the things that you're gonna learn in 2012 gonna mean not as much in 2025. And I tell you, a lot of us got that twisted because they say, oh baby, go get your education. I'm so glad you got your education. In fact, some of y'all, when y'all graduate, because they do it at Penn Valley, say stuff like, man, I'm so glad I'm done. I ain't gonna never read another book. I'm done with school. This is it. I promise you, your whole entire life is a classroom. There's just a difference whether you get credit for it, that you can formulate a credential, that you can say you have, or you are able to apply the knowledge that you acquired. Does that make sense? Okay. The next thing that college students get twisted, I have learned by failing to define a purpose. When I say purpose, what do I mean?
What you want to do.
Say it again, say it loud.
What you want to do.
What you want to do? Okay. Any other thoughts? Yes, sir.
Something that's going to fulfill you in the long run.
Something that's going to fulfill you and sustain you in the long run. I like that definition. Defining one's life purpose is probably the most difficult thing if you take it serious to achieve. In fact, it's easier to tell you what a purpose is not than to tell you what a purpose is. Let me give you some examples. Your purpose should be broad, and it should not include your desired occupation. Most people, when they talk about their purpose, they talk about what they want to do. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a business person. I want to be a public servant. Not your desired earnings. When I talk to people about their purpose, they talk about, I want to be able to sustain a lifestyle for my family that I can be proud of. No socioeconomic status or things that you hope to possess. A lot of people say my purpose is to own a home and be able to provide for the people in that home. Your purpose should never, ever, 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 ever be connected to anything that can be taken away from you. So for example, let's say that you are a lawyer and that was your purpose, and you made partner at a young age, but you made some friends that you really needed to look out for, and they got you involved in this deal where you got disbarred. You can no longer practice law anywhere on earth. Does your life end at that point? Or let's say that your purpose was to have this home, and like a lot of people, because of circumstances out of your control, you're not able to sustain that home, and you foreclose. Do you jump off a building? Keeping it real, some people have. So in my mind, your purpose should be something that is bigger than you. At the end of the day, your legacy. My purpose is real simple. Here's my purpose. To empower individuals who have historically been denied in higher education, to improve the quality of life for themselves and their families through a quality collegiate experience. Now, it doesn't matter what I do. I can do this as a janitor, I can do it as an instructor, I can do it as a counselor, I can do it as a dean. It's easier doing it as a president, but it doesn't matter what I do for a living. In fact, I can be unemployed because I know enough about the academy. I know enough about how colleges and universities work that I can help anybody navigate that. So regardless of my employment status or where I work, That's my purpose, and that's what I'm gonna contribute to the world. Question is, what's your purpose? What's your legacy? The third thing that college students get twisted is oftentimes students put too much stock in things people have and not enough stock in who people are. I mean, this was tough for me because I didn't have my first car. So like I had my first degree, the bachelor's degree in psychology, had no wheels. And that hurts your dating life. But I'm so glad it did because again, because nowadays people put too much stock in what people are driving, which amazes me how the most ugliest, tore up, raggedy acting dude, right? Funky attitude, right? Can pull up in a certain automobile and on a certain day drive a certain way, and he may not get the attention of the most quality person, but he gonna get the attention of somebody. And that absolutely breaks my heart. But we need to put more stock in to what kind of man or woman am I dealing with, right? What kind of son or daughter is this person that I'm interacting with? Because if you are gonna clown your parents, it's only a matter of time he or she gonna clown you. I mean, that's just real talk. What kind of brother or sister? Get off of me, get away from me, you always having something, you always, and then if that's how you treat your kinfolk, it's only a matter of time you get in that box. Mother or father, what kind of mother or father are you? Husband or wife? I mean, those absolutely are absolute things that are fundamental to me. Are you an honest and trustworthy person? I mean, so what he look good if every time you turn your back, he in your purse? I mean, I'm not supposed to say that, but I did. Is a person humble or appreciative of their blessings? I mean, is a person always got to brag about what's a blessing, what's a fortune, what's something that has nothing to do with them bragging about? How do you really want the world to remember you? These are questions that I think we all should ask each other. What legacy do you really want to leave? The fourth thing, and this is a big one. End of the day, people, you will fail in life. No doubt about it. I am a habitual failure. I came in the wrong way when I got here. I always fall short. But I will tell you, it is the fear of failure that causes people to fail to try, and not trying guarantees failure. So you got to get over that, because I tell you, every failure, I ain't gonna make that wrong turn again next time I come. I mean, there's a lesson in every failure you have. But we make each other feel so bad about falling short. It's like the brother said in the YouTube video. I mean, I'm supposed to relish in my weakness and ask you all to lift me up and help me lift myself up. But we gotta hide our weakness and failure. Because here's the end of the day, the difference between extraordinary people and ordinary people are how people handle failure. Most people quit. But how you handle that adversity will determine where you end up ultimately. And then the last one, and this is a big one, is preparing for only the expected. In fact, I want y'all to do me a favor. I want to start a movement. We need to stop saying, we want you to go to college. Stop saying that to people. Stop telling people you gotta go to college. Don't say that no more. Tell people you need to graduate from college. Two different things. We need to be on a graduation mission. If it's not your intention to graduate, don't go to college. I mean, if it's your intention just to be here to land here for a minute to figure things out, don't do it. It's too expensive. That's too much time, that's too much energy. Go to college to graduate. The goal should not be just to go to college. Because when we have that idea of my goal is to get to college, we don't deal with the unexpected. Those of you who are first generation college students like me, when you make the decision to graduate from college, you need to prepare for the worst case scenario. Like, for example, what happens if that car you got for graduation breaks down, the car that you took your Pell Grant, and you got that little bump in there, and you got the wheels on it, and then you realize you ain't have enough money on your books. That car, who was your sole source of transportation, and now you can't get to work, now you can't get to class, what's your plan if that happens? What happens if your mom, dad, guardian, girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, fiance, husband, wife loses their job while you in the midst of going to school, and the plan was for them to help support you get through college? What you gonna do? You done? You got to sit out a semester too, work a little bit, save up your chips. I mean, what's your plan? What happens if you lose your scholarship? A lot of scholarship, you know, I'm amazed at how in the fall, so many excited, bright, shining faces. People get all the scholarship. They get a scholarship from the church, and they get scholarship from the college and all of that. Then 16 to 20 weeks later, they're a different person. They're walking around like this. I don't know how I'm gonna make it. What happened to our scholarship money? Well, you know they tripping. You know what happened to that scholarship money. You lost that scholarship money because you weren't handling business, right? Now, it's somebody else's fault that you don't have that support. What happens if your grandmother dies, a best friend, or mother, father, or someone who was that rock in your life, that person who offered you the only words of encouragement? What happens if that person's gone? What you gonna do? So my thing is, you need to prepare for the worst case scenario. So here are my 3 challenges before I get out of y'all's hair. I know it's getting late, y'all getting tired, me too. First thing you need to do is to clarify and commit to your values. Not what somebody else say their values are, not something that sound good, not something that you heard at church. Your values. I'm gonna give you some examples, and y'all ain't gonna like this, but you know, I got plenty of friends, I got people in the family. We lie about our values so much that we don't even know when we're lying or telling the truth. I'm gonna give you some real concrete examples. Example 1, man, I really value education. I love education. You know, education is the key, right? You go to this person's house, right? You can't find not one book or educational material, right? You might find one book and it's the Bible and Rev is Dusty, right? But yet, they got on display 780,000 DVDs, right? Or they got they flipping through their phone and flipping through their iPod, and they got 2 million songs, right? They got so many videos, and some of them bootleg, most of them bootleg, but they paid for them. They got videos that's still in the I ain't even got time to watch that, player. You know, I'm gonna get to it. That's not a person who values education. That's a person who values entertainment. And listen to me, ain't nothing wrong with valuing entertainment. Nothing at all. I value entertainment. The problem is when you say you value something else. Because that same person say, yeah, I'm gonna go back to school, but I gotta get my job to pay for it. I gotta get somebody else to pay for it. I'm not a person who values education. The second challenge I'd like to leave you is to identify your purpose. And remember, this is a difficult task. You know, if you walk out of here tonight and you got your purpose in your head, that's cool. But it's not that easy for most people. And remember what your purpose is not: your desired earning, social economic status, or anything you hope to possess. And last but not least, if you're serious about this education thing, you need to have a backup plan for your backup plan for graduating college. You need to be able to think of the worst case scenario, what can happen to me? I get hit by a bus. Who gonna bring me my homework when I'm laying in the hospital bed? I mean, your backup plan for your backup plan works, because at the end of the day, I mean, if this is something you committed to, you must commit it to by any means necessary. Some final thoughts I'll just share with you. You know, oftentimes there's inspiration that I draw from other people, in some cases, some unlikely sources. I love this Dr. King quote. I love what Gandhi says. I mean, this is probably the most powerful statement that I live by, is that happiness is when what you think and what you say and what you do are in harmony. Most of us are happy and miserable people because we walk in contradictions. We don't know we done told what, and we confuse ourselves. We're confusing ourselves, and we're confused. But if you want to be happy, be consistent. Let what you think align with what comes out of your mouth, and let that follow up with consistent actions, and you're gonna be all right. Thank you all this evening. I know it's been late, but I very much am impressed with what you all have done here and the commitment that you've made to yourselves. I have no doubt that you will live the lives and make contributions the way you intend. That's my contact information. All right, thank you all so very much.
We want to make sure that Dr. Seabrooks walks away knowing that you heard what he said. So I usually ask you all to tell him what you heard. He said there are 5 things that college students get twisted. What was one of those 5 things? Anybody? TC. Not knowing your purpose. All right, very good. What else? What is it? What is it? Knowing the difference between education and credentials. Yeah. Awesome, Calvin. All right, what else?
Students put too much stock in things people have and not enough stock into what people are.
Okay. All right, sound like we're down to 1, 2, 3. What was the 5th thing? The 5th, yes.
I want to say having a backup plan.
Exactly. So it's doing what? Preparing for. What do you prepare for?
Failure.
But you only prepare for the expected. Very good. Very good. They heard you. All right. All right. Now he gave you 3 challenges. 3 challenges. He gave you 3 challenges, right? What were one of the 3 challenges? He said, if you do this, you can almost hit a home run. What was it? Know your purpose. But he talked about doing what about that? Identifying your purpose. Wonderful. Thank you, Ernesto. All right. What else did he say?
Clarify and commit to your values.
Clarify and commit to your values. Awesome. And one other thing. Create a backup plan. Oh,
for your backup plan.
For your backup plan. Backup plan for your backup plan. Awesome. Good job. Good job. Go on, listening.
Well, I am so glad I was here tonight to hear my compadre. That's right. It was absolutely wonderful. We're together in meetings and conferences, but we don't have a chance to actually see each other's talents. And it was great. I'm so happy I was here tonight to see that. And then I think when I was listening to it, I thought, that's what that poem, Mother to Son, is all about. Have you guys ever heard Mother to Son? Well, I want to share with you those who have not heard it. In my imagination, a young man was maybe thinking that he would give up because things got a little tough. And he just thought, I can't do this. But he had a mother who had been through the storm. And she just let him know, no, that's not the way we're gonna do it right now. And it kind of goes like this. It's in Black dialect, which means that the words are not in standard American English. She uses some dis, dat, dos, and thems. But she says, well, son, I tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal staff. It's had tacks in it and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. Been in places, turning corners, going in the dark, sometime where there ain't been no light. But don't you sit down on the steps. Don't you sit down now because you find the going's kind of hard. Don't you quit now. For I still climbing. I still going. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Now that's a mother having a conversation, and you can tell that she didn't have much education, but she knew the value of getting not an education, but a what? Yes. Education is a lifelong process. You can't finish it. And when you pass on from the scene, you have to hand the mantle off to somebody else to continue on. And I think the things that were said tonight are so valuable to you and to me to hear it again, so that I can steal it off from him and say it to somebody else. So thank you for letting me share this evening with you, and I wish you all the best that life has to offer. Thank you so much.
As usual, we'll close out by saying that let's continue spreading this to people so they can understand that there's help here. Every Thursday at 6 o'clock, we're here, and the stats prove that when you're connected, you stay engaged, you stay in school. When you get disconnected from the group, you fall out of school, and you're looking to get back. We've been here long enough to know that. When people stay, they normally get what they're looking for, the job, and when they go away, they kind of fall back and then restart. So we just got to be more smart how we do things and know that we're here.
I think the most important thing for I hope people take away is the fact that education it's not an end state. It's a ever-evolving process. And the only time that you're done with the pursuit of education is when you're on the other side of the grind. And if you can understand that and appreciate that, and be humble about the blessings and the privilege that you have to graduate from this institution or any institution of your choice. Education is not a right, it's a privilege. And oftentimes we treat it as if it's owed to us. And understanding that that's a responsibility to expand your knowledge base, to better yourself through the acquisition of knowledge and new information. It's really what the difference between separates us from humans and other species on the planet. And not to fully participate in that, I think it's a shame.
And I know one of the other things you talked about when we were in private conversation is you have been involved with other institutions with programs designed to empower young African American males in the same age group we're dealing with, 17 to 24. What did you find the most challenging, and what did you find the most rewarding?
I don't know if it's because of where we are in our country with our families, but the notion of brotherhood is really foreign to a lot of our young men. The notion that you can actually have someone that's of the same gender, same age, walk the same streets as you, that you can actually love, and you can say that I love you, and that you want them to be successful. We've created an environment where we have this unhealthy spirit of competition. And, you know, I can be doing bad as long as I'm doing better than somebody else. And that's kind of, unfortunately, the world they grew up in. And so getting them to understand that brotherhood is this concept that, you know, the better you do, it creates a chance for me to do better, because there's someone I know from the same place that I'm from that can vouch for me and has helped to break cycles and stereotypes. And so, but that's the one thing, getting folks to know that they can trust other men their age to go on this journey together.
Wonderful. Wonderful.